Welcome back, everybody, to the PPL. So, it's our second set of the day for Fnatic.
I just really like that enemy rampage. Slow-mo, deep voice coming into it. I think that's
Can't go that deep.
a great way to put like the period on that last set.
Yeah. I mean, I think some people predicted that kind of performance from Fnatic, but then you see it in action, and there's not much you can say except it's Fnatic being Fnatic, hungry, starting off this split how they want to.
And with the way things have been throughout lands, I want to say I feel like just like the hunger in them. Where it's just like, we can win this one. We're not going to hold back. We're not going to mess around. Like, we're just going to win it, and then we're going to keep moving on. We're going to go to Navi, which I feel like they're trying to approach this one with the same way. But with some changes and the way things have been, these two have been back and forth all the time.
This is a match that has happened time and time again, Fnatic versus Navi. And if you look at the side of Fnatic, where I'm sure they're not feeling great about their loss against Navi, and Theo was doing really great in that first set as the solo tank and then coming through with the assistance of Ruckus in the third game. But in any situation, really, he is so consistent with this frontline play.
I mean, you give him a frontline that can survive on their own, maybe with a little assistance from a healer, and he's going to be happy. He's going to be able to make plays for you, and he's going to be able to set things up. The thing that Fnatic does that everyone else was kind of playing catch-up to is that they love running solo tank. Theo runs it so well already that they didn't really have to adapt to it when that became the meta.
I feel like Theo honestly got a little bored at some moments in that first set where because there
I'm just standing here as an Nara.
Well, he was actually on the point at one point and then actually started emoting as Nara because no one else was around, and eventually NTVs came back and he had to deal with that situation. But there was a good chunk of percentage where the rest of the team was dealing with the enemy so effectively. They thought, well, I'm not going to leave because we have a job to do. I need to capture, but hey, here I am.
I mean, there was even the point where, Mouse are actually at Fnatic's base, dismounting him, kind of keeping him distracted. No one was looking at Theo. Again, standing on the point, just kind of hanging out. And it's like, he's not shooting anyone because he couldn't see anyone from where he was. And that's kind of, I feel like the ups and downs of Inara. The upside is that you're not going to die a lot. The downside is you don't really get the most exciting gameplay most of the time. You do tend to just sit there on the point doing your best to capture that objective.
I feel like if this series stands up to par, it should be an exciting one at that, because they're going against Navi, and they have had a roster change with Lazy joining them as Umbi has left. So it's the first time we're seeing them together.
This is going to be a very interesting pickup to me, because Lazy has been not only around the scene for a long time, it's like he's been memed just because, the Lazy ult, but at the same time, he's a phenomenal player, and I feel like this, to me, is a mix between Navi. I feel like Unbelievable was a very solid frontliner for them, but I feel like Lazy helps them adapt to this meta a little bit more. I think he just has a lot more flexibility with it, and that makes their roster a little bit deadlier.
Well, that's the curious thing, seeing how it does work out with everyone together, because all solid players, and I think people will be excited to see Lazy playing once again, because we missed out on him in the last week or so of the last regular split. But it isn't a direct trade, as you sometimes see, where it's a frontliner getting traded for another frontliner or something, right? Very different type of pools, very different feel between the two players. So as we go into our first map of this set, I do want to see how Lazy has found his puzzle piece within the Navi roster.
And this also, I think, is going to take away things where we saw where Navi were doing triple DPS, but it was Phoenix who was really having to flex around. And even though he had stellar performances, you could kind of tell from talking to him that he's like, I'd rather not be doing that. I would rather, yes, I'll play Khan, and if you give me Khan, I'll do him as a DPS. But my Shaolin, he's like, I don't think it's as good as the other top DPS. So it's like, if I have to play it, I don't think it's going to work as well as if I just let someone else come through, potentially Lazy.
Well, that's one thing you love about some of these players. Phoenix, he is ready to be self-critical in addition to that kind of just modesty that he has. So even when he was saying, my DPS play, I'm trying to get it up to the EU standard, we all thought, oh, we're seeing some great stuff from you, man. But here we are, where will he continue? He's put a lot of work into actually putting that role under his belt, or are they going to just defect to having Lazy pick up that slack? But Kinessa is the very first lock-in for Fnatic.
Definitely, I want to say feeling comfortable. And it's, again, this matchup actually that we saw earlier where it's Fnatic saying, look, you banned one of the snipers, we're just going to take the other one, and now what are you going to do about it? You don't get someone who can fight on even footing.
But you have Makoa and Inara both on the opposite end.
Yeah, That's definitely not, I think, the way I would want that to go. Navi going to feel comfortable with that. Although I'm kind of curious as to who's playing what here. They're going to be able to get the Shaolin. And it's actually interesting to see Navi. I mean, it's when there's front lines that you value very heavily. Right now, Makoa, Inara, and Khan, I want to say, are the three up there. That's like, these are the ones we want to grab. Fnatic have a little bit more flexibility, I think, because they have the Khan.
And Khan, we haven't really got to see from them. When Khan first came out in competitive play, Fnatic wasn't a fan, but there's been a little tweaks here, tweaks there. And now, while everyone's kind of figuring things out, Khan's made his space a bit more carved out within professional play. And I'm stoked to see how he actually acts within this Fnatic roster. Genos, and then it sounds like it's Ruckus.
That is going to be interesting to see picked up again. Going for a double front line, but it feels like both the front lines they have been used more often as the side front lines. Ruckus not usually the one to stand on the point. Khan can, but it's one of those things that you really need people who are keeping him afloat because he will drown if you do not make sure he stays alive.
Now Navi pick up Xin as their last lock-in for their team. So of these two, who are you feeling?
I'm leaning a little bit towards Navi, and I'm kind of curious as to how they're going to be able to perform with Lazy.
Well, let's find out how they perform as we go into game number 1.
Well, Creatives and Mutu have been historically the dominant duo on land, but offline, no one's been able to contest Fnatic. And I don't know if that will happen today. The way they came out looking, Nick, it was like an unstoppable force, an immovable object just blazing through.
Well, we'll see if all that triple tank NIP played in Season 1 pays off here, as I think it's going to be young Kevin taking up arms as the front line.
That's right.
I will say Navi have the more tried and true composition here. Fnatic, very execution-based, a lot of damage amp, but the stars kind of have to align with a lot of these mechanics that they're going to be bringing in with this composition. If they do, they'll win. Sure, that's really the story of Fnatic and Navi. I think Fnatic, when they're playing, are unstoppable, but they put themselves on this tightrope a little bit, and if they are able to fall off, Navi are easily taking this one.
Some great card art for Bugsy and his card at the ready. We don't see this often, but the reveal for 2 seconds is a bit of a duration. And because of the fall off, or the lack thereof on these missiles, you do get some good information around corners. All cauterizes started off, JR, the only one with Kronos, and of course Phoenix and Mutu running some Wrecker to deal with the Ruckus, deal with the Con Shields. Very soft approach there. A couple of headshots as well from Bugsy. He's being patient. He's already burned the Earthen Guard and the wall, so he knows the Warders Field's the only thing left up for Lazy, fighting against one of his, well, former adversaries.
Yeah, former adversaries, former teammates reuniting here. Spunky and Lazy back together against Steel now. It's funny how the atmosphere will change in these teams. Up over the top, Fsheko will find a shot onto Creatives. Bittner takes down Lazy. It's a tied-up point at the moment, but Fnatic have just eked out a victory here. Not a very landslide one at that.
And you can see what they're doing. It's one of the things I actually kind of just theorized about Khan and Eevee. But you could wormhole in, and the wormhole, after he battle shouts, can be used so offensively at a different range than a lot of other weapons. She can just really take that 4 seconds and make the most of it as she gets into the back line, has the CC immunity, can't be stopped, and then blinks back. Right now, Fnatic, 96% of the objective. Bugsy's just going to back off, keeping an eye on Mutu. Not a lot of offense here thus far from Navi.
Oh, no. And here comes the Headhunter as well as the Ice Storm. So much lockdown in the back line and the front line. Tender can't make it out, but it's a triple kill for Fsheko in the back line.
And the way that they're playing Fsheko here with the Khan, it's so effective. Solo Khan, not something I actually have seen be the best, but it's something I'm very, very eager to watch Fnatic continue to do and showcase with this Eevee, because if anyone's going to pull it off effectively, it's going to be Theo.
Yeah, it's tough for sure. It's a little bit more hands-off than I think even Theo is used to being with, you know, things like Barrack. He can even sort of get in there. I think that's probably the closest comparison you would want to make, because it really comes down to the team setting up that Barrack to get in there and entrench himself. Khan's sort of the same way. He doesn't have a whole lot of spearhead potential on his own.
In this triple DPS, the second you start looking at Bugsy too long, I mean, how many seconds have they had? He's going to maybe go down here. Theo with a heal. He's just biding his time, using the corner so effectively. But Fsheko, for some reason, decides not to take part in that fight. Says, I'll stay down, wait for the rest of my team. We're already a little behind. Planted canceled by Mutu. Searching out for the flank, who just appears. Great flick shot as well. He's known for that.
It's funny to see Mutu start to play a little bit of projectile here.
Hello!
Whoa, Garo with the big lead,
The
big
read.
read. Mutu is caught slipping there. He didn't even look like he had a time to react.
Mutu went into that and it took him a second to realize what was happening. He's like, no way did I get read like a book that hard. Nani? What is this?
That was a sick ice block as well. Close range, point blank Dread Serpents are very hard to. I mean, that timing has to be near impeccable from Fnatic, and that's a big ultimate whiffed by Navi.
And, you know, I think it's game sense, too. I mean, these guys played so much. They know what he's trying to do. It actually became, for the Masters LAN for me, a thing that I would see Spunky and Jera do all the time. Just a point blank, you get near me, ult you, and we instantly get a kill, and we keep Maldamba alive. Ancient Rage here as well coming through. Phoenix filing away at that shield, but Khan's going to get some CC immunity. Not afraid of the hook and just going to back off.
Trying to make up for lost time. Tenor takes down Creative from distance. This opens up for Sheko to easily breeze to the back line. He might be blinking.
Oh, Mutu! Answers back.
Where was he?
Beautiful stun. Had to be in the corner on the right side. But Bugsy takes him down very quickly, so he disappears into dust just as fast. But great play from him and great timing onto the Eevee.
There it is. Missile launcher's being dumped. Now Bugsy's in the corner, but he's died with his pedal to the metal more than once this game, and I think that's how most of his deaths are going to be coming. He's going to get in, he's going to commit, and hope his boys follow up.
4 streak for Lazy. Big adjustment. We talked about he being this DPS player. So much of the rhetoric around him in NIP was that too many tanks not maximizing his potential. Started out as the Kinessas, the Eevees we would see, and now has kind of transitioned into those barracks, and now transitioning into these Zanaras for Navi, taking unbelievable spot. Will it work out? So far, so good on the defense. It seems like they're going to hold here 1-1.
Shield goes up, and the overtime will start to expire. Bugsy probably going to lose his life here. He gets hooked away from the objective. Couple more to the face. Lazy gets credit for the kill. Navi, they hold on. But you can't let plays like this come through too often. You're going to find yourself lost. That's what we talk about, the tightrope, so to speak, when things are lining up for Fasheko, for Tenor, and this Fnatic lineup. It's going to be very difficult to deal with. In any other scenario, though, it ends up looking like that defense is just kind of hits a brick wall time and time again.
And you can't do anything about it when they've got 99%. What we see Virtus Pro do that Fnatic also does well, but less obtusely, so to speak. They're a little bit more clinical and a little bit more flexible with the way they do it, but they get that early capture objective. So by the time you're wanting to take a big fight, you're ready to commit, someone's got to stand on point or Thiel's just going to capture it. That's what makes it so difficult. They do a great job of moving Jera into the point when possible and allowing Thiel to get ahead zone with that bigger health pool as well.
Playing the angles now. Won't get the battle shout this time around. Have to keep an eye. Here comes the overpower. And just that guaranteed kill that Khan brings.
Yep, and it's a very smart play because if he throws early, maybe a chance for an immediate Ancient Rage. You CC immune, you drop down, but he walks straight to the side. He's got full cover there. What a great spot. What a dangerous pickup here on Frog Isle, especially now with the zone they can do.
A late kill on Mutu as well. That's going to keep the advantage rolling here for Fnatic as they push upwards of a 50% lead. Coming back to the objective. Every ultimate still available for Navi. The battle shout to heal up for Sheko. Here comes the Ancient Rage despite all the lockdown, and Khan still makes it out alive.
That Commander's Grab can be used for mobility, not just for locking somebody down. A great shield, a great battle shout, a great storm. Ice is falling. And the only thing melting right now is again a Dread Serpent that sends Fasheko to the water's edge. Lazy finds a kill onto Bugsy there for Navi, and somehow they turn it around, getting a very comical kill onto the flank.
That's what turns it around, really? After such a beautiful start from Fnatic, I figured all the investment from Phoenix that just hit nothing. There's no way that Fnatic lose that fight, but somehow Navi managed to eke back just a chance, a hope, a glimmer for themselves.
Fasheko and now Simslu are hanging out down there. Says the water's actually not so bad. We'll see who else joins them after
that's a really high kill volume.
Yeah,
he just barely fell off.
Pretty crazy as well. And clearly didn't have enough, but his Bittner going in, he was a big part of this domination in the Mouse Sports set. And on the Kinessa as well, you got to say Fnatic putting themselves in a great spot draft-wise, always having either the lone sniper or no snipers at all to deal with.
And who's going to step up to the plate to contest Sheko on Eevee? Creatives has been close. Doodle looks good when he's not against this tier of competition.
He does.
I thought Lazy might have been that for Navi, but I guess it's just been too long since he's played that, as well as what are Navi comfortable playing with? There was a lot of talk about their 3 DPS being able to run with Fnatic and play their game.
Yeah. And, you know, to elaborate on that, I think Navi overall in a great spot because Umbi is not the one who is going to go and play those Lazy champions damage-wise the way Lazy can. Lazy going to work on getting to the front line level. So far, still looking good for Fnatic, but, you know, this allows them to match a lot better. And if they do want to go triple DPS, I think Lazy's going to serve a much better role for them than Umbi was able to do in that prior role.
I think transitioning to frontline is more about being a smart player than necessarily super mechanically gifted, and I think Lazy is that. I think he's older in the scene. I think here comes the overpower again. Phoenix, nothing he can do. He gets dunked down into the water. Has 126 on the clock. We'll finish that point in a second as Lazy does fall here. He's a smart guy. He's been around the block. He knows, I think, a lot about the draft, about these players, and he's been to LAN. He's got all kinds of experience to offer this Navi lineup and just a good passion for the game, and I think that's really what they were looking for.
And he does fall pretty far, but he clearly doesn't have a blink or a soar available. Catch an Eevee without a movement skill, that's a treat, and that's a task as well. Plate Mail 5, Never Surrender, and Hope Guard. Those are the cards for Khan, basically.
The only tank player to ever not run Never Surrender at level 5 that I've seen so far.
Oh, I've seen plenty. I've seen actually one other one. But yeah, not a level 5. Never, I thought you were talking Hope Guard. No.
Pretty thick boy here. Going to get a lot of healing while the shield's up. Cool stuff, and that's probably what leads to him surviving that really brutal engagement. He got spited and just brutalized up on the high ground by Ancient Rage and manages to make it out okay.
No, this is not a good start. I'm not sure Phoenix, he doesn't have the Ancient Rage. There's a Hexafire early just to get Lazy down, but that's a through time in space trying to protect him, but still not enough. And Hunter not available. Theo grabbing that kill on the Lazy in response. He gets lifted up, but the Void Grip actually messes with his aim there, and Jera goes down.
Things aren't going well for Fnatic out of the gate here. Navi finding a couple very risky plays by Mutu, and Creatives end up playing off decently. Mutu is going to lose his life for it, but with the comeback mechanic, you want to play aggressively. You want to get every second you can on the objective. It's a 93-6 lead for Navi.
Bit of a missed hook there as well, and this is the comeback mechanic. You have to allow the team to get these big leads if they're going to play the way you play. Now you have to make a move, though. Fnatic has to go big. He hits one, he hits two. Can't hit the third. Mutu's there. Ancient Rage as well. Navi managed their cooldowns so well, and this push is theirs now.
And that's just the mechanical caliber that we were talking about in that first set, that's what makes Navi able to contest Fnatic. The fact that you have a player like Mutu who can track Fnatic through the air during soar while he's sitting still and planted. The fact that he's got balls big enough to even go for that play, to think about doing that when it's Fnatic soaring at him, is incredible, and the reason Navi can contest this incredible Fnatic squad.
And it was really, I think Fnatic's going at him, so I would say that Mutu more in a power position there, 99%. Fnatic's got to get a double kill, otherwise they lose the point. And you can see Fnatic here saying,
how about a triple?
I'll get a triple, but in my own time, not when Fnatic wanted it. Comeback mechanic now will be less of an issue, will be not the same capture rate, so Fnatic have a little bit more breathing room next round, but they still have to survive until then. It's 3-2, and they just reset Navi's push.
136. Here comes the shots from Tenor, but he's got to be careful. Here's a couple arrows flying his way.
Yeah.
Fishy managing to just barely stay over the top on the damage charts, which is just such an incredible feat in its own right. A lone sniper here who frankly hasn't been under a ton of pressure. There hasn't been a whole lot of dive from Creatives on the Xin to the back line.
Yeah.
But Fishy still managing to get it done. Maybe Khan having something to do with that. I haven't seen a whole lot of bonus damage drop shots. Theo's been a little bit more selfish, and I think understandably so with his battle shouts.
Yeah, I think you should be. I think that's your ideal when you're pushing. Try to maybe set Eevee up for something, but when you're defensive, right here, solo tank, you have to stay alive. That's why it's such a dangerous tightrope to play, and you know, Phoenix here getting away as well thanks to Spunky's heal. That was one that might have been missed and might change this round.
She does have Luminary at the end of the day. Forced into an ice block, hooked out. Is he going to make it away? Just barely with the blink. He is not going to be wormholing back, but Lazy's there to get to the back line to clean him up, to send one of his old rivals back into spawn as well.
And that's a big one. You know, the fact that Lazy's there, it's a great spot for him to be, and Nara is holding it, and you can tell that offensive nature of Lazy is coming in to help make some big plays. They do lose Spunky in the back line, and that's where maybe the peel is missing, the awareness is missing to keep them out of line. But Creative's finding a double kill, going big off of Lazy's pressure. It's just Fnatic are too quick to respond.
Gorgeous shot from Fishy to be able to clean up Moot too far from the distance, and that's sort of what I'm getting at there, where it's not necessarily mechanical stuff that makes frontliners so good. That decision there to make that rotate on a big, fat, slow character like Anar, realizing that once he's in, he's probably not going to be coming back out. Some good stuff.
Yeah.
Good signs already being shown by Lazy on the front line.
Hexafire on the ready. One button, and they all go to dust. We've seen a lot of these golden weapons used actually in the PPL. A lot of people taking a liking to them. Little fun fact, Fury is actually getting a full mastery skin at level 50 with a golden weapon. Be the first champion to be released with that. So you could either buy the levels or, you know, just play her a lot when she comes out.
Good luck. That's a grind.
Sure is.
15 seconds.
Man.
I saw level 94 Androxus the other day, and he said he didn't buy any levels. And I said, boy, oh boy.
So that's got to be one of those guys, because I mean, the XP per level changed from when 25 was the cap. Those guys ended up somewhere around 100 something. Like Doe's Cassie is like 154 or something. Purely just playtime.
We're like, what should you flex on?
Pre-booster
yeah,
play
like pick
time,
any
dude.
damage champion. It's like, I'll play Andro, and then we're like, can you play him? And he clicks him, and it's level 94. He's like, yeah, I can.
Okay.
He carried.
We feel good about that.
Yeah, he carried pretty hard. 3-2 here for Navi. Excuse me, for Fnatic. Navi trying to climb back as best they can. Jera hoping to get a kill on the creatives, but he billows out. Not as much healing as he's used to on the Moldama, but almost goes for it. That was a big play, Jordy. He missed it. It was very, well, I almost want to say selfish there.
Try to catch the Terminator slipping twice in one game. I don't know about that. Theo falls. Tenor trying to get the kill on the creatives here. Into the, oh, he looked one way and got hit from the other. Fishy, a nice tag team play with Tenor.
And I like the way that we're seeing Lazy respond. Fasheko here goes big. We said he might need a double kill to change the tide of these point fights, and he does get one. But someone's got to stay on here with Lazy. It's Inara versus Genos and Kinessa, and they're going to find the kill as Bittner. He's right with the aim, and now the zone can begin. Fnatic have a chance to win the game here if they can just hold Navi back.
Fishy, Tenor, and Gera, just with the mobility of Stellar Wind, Soar, Blink, and Transporter, managed to keep Navi spinning in circles long enough to stabilize. It's a 3-2 lead, 99% on the point for Navi, so simply stepping onto the objective. We'll start the overtime, forcing all the cooldowns from Inara, the Ancient Rage Force as well. And Bugsy burns almost right through it.
But it's a calculated bit of value that they're allowing Bugsy to have because they know that that takes eyes off of Lazy. Lazy immediately drops the wall, walks on the point. Phoenix is still alive, getting healed by Spunky, and then Bugsy falls as he retreats. It was calculated, but when you have 10,000 HP to calculate with, it ends up working in your favor.
Nice shot from Phoenix as well to ensure the kill on Fasheko. Because the counter had already gone up from creatives, he would have actually been able to confirm that kill. Maybe not make it out alive. But with all the CDR he's running on his Soar, every killing blow for Fasheko, it's almost like a full reset for him.
You can see Lazy making the most out of these frontline shots, and that is another thing. Mechanically, maybe not the most important thing, but if you have a support who can get that kill for you when it's running away and your damage dealers can't, or a frontline who can do that as well, it does help. And that's what Lazy definitely brings to the table. Fasheko going big, but not big enough in the early parts of these rounds.
And let's take a look at the damage charts, because Lazy was sitting at a pretty decent spot in the pack, still about middle, but
that's good damage for
he's creeping up on Mutu. It's great damage, and that's the cherry on top, is that he is that mechanically gifted player at the end of the day, and he is going to be hitting a lot of those shots.
And I mean, talk about, you know, the dynamic duo, Bittner and Fasheko, with 150,000 damage essentially apiece.
Yeah. It's tough, man. And that's good damage from Inara into two shielding champions, which a lot of that is not counting. It's just being dumped into shield, so a good on him for staying where he is, managing to get it done. Fishy just barely soars out. He's going to be out of the fight for the next couple of seconds.
50 on the clock. Oh, missed hook there. Would have been a nice combo with the third shot of Yomi for creatives. Now Spite is available. I don't know if they want to lock down Theo. It's a lot. Creatives has the billow. He might just have to use it. Use it just on the gourd. Another missed hook going for Fasheko. He's such a slippery target. He's so mobile. But at this point, this is a dangerous spot. One swing of that fire flaming sword could change this whole dynamic.
Yeah, these frontliners are falling lower and lower, and Genos is not the healer to be able to burst them back up quickly to full HP. Big shot from Tenor onto creative. 17 seconds on the clock.
Oh!
And he keeps finding these angles here. Big Tenor showing a lot of prowess on the sniper.
Wow, and look at that. Mutu just with some awareness, some preemptive firing, knowing exactly the timing of where and when Fasheko wants to show up. And they don't have ultimates yet. I think the best use of this time is to get it. Bugsy's already forcing the Hexa fire, and you got to say that's a win. Something they don't have next round, but still, Navi are up. It's 4-4.
And there's a fear on the objective. Bugsy wants to get this done, but he can't. He's feared away. Here comes the overpower. He's going to throw him off of the map. The shell spin, it's not quite enough. Theo still loses his life. The overtime burning down, and Fnatic, a successful defense by the skin of their teeth.
But they didn't get Ancient Rage, and they didn't get Seismic Crash, and they got the overpower. They got the Hexa fire. You know, despite Fisheko having a 20-7 performance, Bittner having a 16-4 performance, and Fnatic winning all game long, Navi have positioned themselves in a great spot to be able to take this game.
Poor Phoenix, man. 5-15, just getting dunked on cooldown. feels so bad. Nothing he can do about it either.
Did you say Thiel's bad? Oh my God, man.
Thiel's bad, man.
I thought you liked Thiel.
I can't handle this pressure.
I can't handle the pressure.
There we
Thiel's
go.
bad.
I'm with it.
You're with it. You're with the young ones. You got a little bit of pep in your step there.
But this is going to be such a different round because now this is the first round he hasn't had the dunk on cooldown off right at the start of the map. However, Khan being that hit scan threat, he's doing a good job just holding an angle, even if it's not sizable DPS on this Inara. He's getting a lot of ult charge. He's really using Lazy as a battery for that ult.
And you got to also be very careful about giving him even an inch, because Commander's grab, despite making him vulnerable, will make the player who gets grabbed very vulnerable to being deleted quickly by Fisheko's damage with Luminary from Jera. You could have a big setup coming through, not even with the ult being used, but so patience, awareness. You can't just run in onto a Khan. And I think Navi know that, so they're still playing it patiently, sending Makoa to the top side. Here's a early Ice Storm, which gets countered. Oh my God, he countered the origin of the projectile, and it did not show up. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that interaction either. It's very weird. I didn't even know that it was just a projectile, so to speak.
Oh my.
Cool stuff there. Not hitting the mark. It's that Ice Storm in more ways than one. Here's the Ancient Rage. Navi off to a 78% lead despite the game from Fisheko. Despite the game that Tenor are having, the damage, the beautiful KDs. That might be not enough for Navi.
I don't think you're getting back. I think Navi take this one, man. Feels bad for sure. If you're Fnatic, who have been so far in the lead, they still don't have that overpower. Theo is falling, crumbling. He goes down in a shamble of armor and failed attempts at recapturing the final kill on the Spunky from his Bittner, but I don't think Kness is going to be able to beat Lazy here.
New Blood versus Old Lazy gets gripped up into the air, tries to get the last burst out on the Tenor. Get another kill. Another one from Fisheko. It comes roaring in. Theo's got to be almost back as well, and Fnatic, they hang on.
I mean, that's a big play. That's a big, big play. Maybe things are different. You might give Theo some chances for an overpower. That would be huge here. Seismic Crash is still available, though, and they have to stand on the point. Fnatic have that 6-man they've got to worry about, and it's the objective. Any big opener here from his Bittner could change it all, but the wall blocks it off, and there's the stun. Our Phoenix goes down. The Seismic Crash allows Mutu to get a couple kills. Creatives gets another. Navi take game 1 versus Fnatic.
I don't know, man. It's unfortunate. What a hell of a set. A tried and tested composition from Navi. They just win the war in the trenches.
And it's, it is. We lose a lot of battles, but we win the war. That's the perfect way to describe this game. Navi fight to the end. They grit their teeth, and they say it is time for us to still maintain dominance over Fnatic after our win at the Spring Masters LAN. Let's send it back to the desk and break down game 1.
A whole new tempo compared to our first set of the day, and going right down to the nitty-gritty. Navi take the victory.
And that was like, I mean, that first point, the way things went, the way that fight went, I was like, man, this is looking like it might be a repeat. Like, Fnatic were dominating early on. They looked really, really solid at the beginning of the game. And then it was exactly what Evan and Nick said, where it's just, okay, we lost that fight. Doesn't matter. Let's look at the next fight. You keep it 1-1. Okay, we go into this. We go down 3-1. Comeback mechanic in our favor. We have 2 front lines, which was still kind of, it felt like a weird draft, but they knew exactly how to use it, and they won the battle if they didn't win every single skirmish.
It was cool to see Lazy on the front line, but also Mutu, just the way that he's kind of always been with hit scan and everything. We're getting to see him here on this Shaolin, landing a lot of his shots, especially when you're following up on those tremendous Dread Serpents from Spunky.
And, you know, it's funny to think that Mutu, you know, he's the Andraxis guy. I guess, like, the first time you see him, that's going to be what you think of. I really like seeing this Shaolin. I think it fits his style very well, and I think being able to play it at the level he did, yes, there were some, you know, I want to say, like, ups. There were some downs throughout that entire game where it was great, and sometimes it's like, man, you could not do anything there. But it has been set up really, really well to be successful.
Yeah, he's played so many things over the time that we've watched him within professional play, and this is just another thing that he seemed to
pull it out of the pocket.
Yeah, and then going back to the talk about Lazy being on this Inara, and the casters were making the mention where Pretty Hair was saying, yeah, you need that level of knowledge to go with your gameplay when you're frontline, and it does help that he has that mechanical ability.
And just being able to, I want to say, transition from what had been a very heavy kind of DPS lineup. I want to say everything on NIP is kind of like, well, this is what your focus is. Now being able to pick up, okay, you can play Inara if we need to run the double tank. And that was really a double frontline. I think because Makoa and Inara were open, it's like, well, we kind of have to, right?
It worked. So let's go into game number 2. We just visited Frog Isle, where it was pretty tight between both teams for quite a while. And then now we're going off to Jaguar Falls.
A lot of similarities and a lot of differences when it comes down to this map. This is kind of, I want to say flow-wise similar to Frog Isle, but then when it comes down to layout and when it comes down to the champions that are going to excel here, dramatically different. You won't see flanks as often, as successful, I want to say, on Frog Isle as you will here, and that's kind of where I'm wondering where these are going to go. Fnatic respecting that Shaolin enough to ban it away.
They don't want to deal with it. Drogos, Maeve, both taken off the table as well, and Makoa. So 2 picks that worked out very well for Navi that have ban potential even outside of those performances anyway.
And I think they're kind of isolating something that was giving them trouble and something that they were able to showcase during Masters Land, and as well as I think now even more so with his buffs. Navi like this Khan, and I think he's going to be impressive to have here.
Cassie getting locked in as well. So Inara and Cassie, good combination. You get Theo back on that Inara. Terminus locked in here too. And that's the thing, if you look at game 1, both teams were playing very well. It was just some really good Tread Serpents and all these things that fell in line in those nitty-gritty fights. But Zen 2 and Bomb King.
It looks pretty solid on the side of Navi. I'm kind of curious. They've got their front lines and where they want to keep them. They've got the Zen, but they lose the Genos, so they're still open for a healer and 1 more DPS. Pretty much anyone that they would want to pick up is going to be solid here. Fnatic, on the other hand, are picking up just an all-star roster when it comes down to an Inara, Cassie, Bomb King, Genos, all incredibly strong on this map.
So Navi decide to stick with the double front line. So I wonder if Lazy is just focusing on that a bit more. Maybe because of the nature of the swap, they decided we need to make sure that you can play those champions here within our comp.
I think it gives him a lot more flexibility. I'm curious to see what he's going to be on this time around, because I feel like Phoenix is always the one that loves Khan, so if he's the Terminus, it's going to be interesting to have that picked up. But Fnatic getting their Inara back for Theo and kind of being able to flex back to, I think, what makes them feel comfortable.
Well, we had a very exciting game 1, and I'm ready for an exciting game 2.
Yes.
So let's jump in.
Khan and Terminus. That is a thick frontline squad.
The big boys.
Those guys do not miss leg day. They don't miss any day at the gym, apparently. So I think this is going to be a matchup to be exciting as the first for Navi.
And they're backed up by Maldamba again, so plenty of healing, I think, to go around this time. Khan being worked on at post-buff. You know, you look at a guy like Phoenix who had no hesitation being able to adopt this at land before anyone really had time behind it. Now he's just even stronger. This guy's probably has the most time of any of the frontline players out there on it, especially in these high-caliber situations.
You got to give Phoenix some credit, too, because he's the one who did this with Terminus as well. He brought Terminus out at the Masters LAN and was just one of the early adopters, probably the best Terminus in that LAN heading into Worlds, and showed he could still play it at Worlds as well. Really running with Strength of Stone. We haven't seen this in a bit like from Lazy.
A day 1 Terminus loadout.
It does.
When you just hold all your charges, you go undying, and you sit, and you never even Calamity Blast at all, and you just literally run at people. Probably has some Swift Spirit, so this loadout going to be a little bit more viable.
And so I'm very interested to see how that plays. It doesn't work well. Sheko finds an early kill. Fnatic off to the races, so to speak. And Terminus, the one who's supposed to never die, or at least come back to life, is the one who dies first, and so does the rest of Navi.
Creatives pulls through with a double kill, though. I'd be making a look. Triple kill around the corner. Tender will go. Tender will find what Tender looks for.
And, you know, the timing on that heal was so unfortunate, because if he had one there for Mutu, and he and Mutu get healed up, that's a different fight. But already, really good job by Creatives to at least make it awkward for Fnatic and not really giving them a chance to zone fully.
Slowing him down with the net shot before he fades away around the corner. 72% lead. Wall destined to go up. Cuts Lazy off from the rest of the team. However, still in line of sight. There's a small crack Spunky's using to get heals through, but it's not enough.
I think that is a little bit too aggressive from Lazy. I'm not going to lie. Shatter falls in for the second time. Gets stunned midway, but boy, oh boy. Really tough spot. Mutu in the backline, though, with the space he created, taking advantage of it. He may need to spike here and just get it Spinner off this timer of being able to aggress onto the front line, but he goes in and starts firing away.
Target swap from Tenor. Doesn't chase down the kill onto Mutu. Mutu gets healed back up. Mutu's coming back in to hunt Fnatic with 2 of his own.
Yeah, it's an incredible heal as well. Coming through from Creatives, he has been phenomenal on the pip, and that secondary heal that he was able to provide was so clutch to keep Lazy alive there. It's a different adjustment. Terminus is probably, I think, the hardest front line to play effectively. And when you look at this, you can see that Navi are having no problems. Here's the Evil Mojo available, though. Fisheko rolling in with a King Bomb, trying to start it off.
Oh, my goodness. And Phoenix gives everyone the CC immunity. Nothing is landing for Fnatic.
Why?
Everything bounces off, but they steal it away. A wall goes up, and Fnatic, in the most chaotic 0.5 we've seen in forever, have just stolen away an objective from Navi.
It's just a mistake. It's a mistake from Creatives. He Evil Mojos after Inara starts her ultimate. She's CC immune. He knows that. Do that 10 times, 9 times out of 10, he waits on it or he chooses someone else. But for this reason, against Fnatic at a 99-99 objective, that Evil Mojo finds no value, and Fnatic steal it away.
Yikes. That was chaotic for sure. A lot of CC immunity flying around that fight, so who was able
Settle in
to get a land there. Navi, Fnatic, these sets are always decided by inches, those little marginal plays. That one's a bit of a more major mistake.
It really is. And, you know, Creatives has been really a game changer. And that's the difference. When Pip hits that and Inara's not a factor in that fight, I mean, of course, you win that point. But he is. And Fisheko most likely running. I'd be curious to see the items as well. I'm not sure if he's run the Wrecker. Or if he's decided to just go to the Cauterize. And again, I think people are switching over, saying we don't really need Wrecker on BK. Cauterize is so much better with Royal Subjects to just guarantee applying it, but also guarantee finishing off targets.
Well, with Bomb King, you just go right over the con shield. You don't even really have to go through it. Very few shields, like Fernando shield and Makoa shield, are the ones you have to go through. Ruckus shield, you have to go through. Theo's gone. Getting a taste of his own medicine this time around. Phoenix is here for revenge. That's why they first picked the con.
That's right.
I'm over it. I got dunked 15 times last game. I'm sick of this.
I'm sick of this, man. Let me get him off the map. He takes him down, and he lets all his friends look at him, say, guys, look what I got. Look what I got. Ah, see you later. Alligator. Swimming with the fishes, so to speak. But Fisheko dying to Phoenix. Perfect harmony for the joke. Finishing there.
The crescendo. All good jokes come together in such a way.
Exactly.
25 left here. Ultis for Navi. Ultis for Fnatic. I don't know. I think everyone's going to be a little bit gun shy. Everything's so cinematic with these ultimates. So much wind up. These champions so dramatic about the way they want to use their ultimate abilities. So much room for counterplay.
There's true. It is true, and you know, it's just. A really good flank here from Fisheko. It's probably going to turn the tides. You see the Billow, Lazy coming around. I would expect a Poppy Bomb soon, and it's actually very good. Lazy throws that Grubby Bomb. Excuse me, the Grubby Bomb is thrown down by Fisheko, so this will have an impact. What impact, though? Probably not enough for Jera and Bugsy to finish it off. But they find a couple.
Quick moves there from Bugsy to get out of the way. Jordy as well breaks line of sight, but Mutu has just been escaping too many times this round. He goes down there. Finally, Tenor and Theo will combine to take him down. The wall goes up. They've already lost Tenor. The overtime is here. Jordy is nowhere close. Theo's going to do his best to survive here on the front line. Here comes Fisheko with a King Bomb. They're going all in for it.
They feel like this is possible, but a great battle shout from Phoenix. Immunes that King Bomb. It's just a waste. You know, they make the call to go for it, but Theo dies right away, and maybe that was the problem. The timing's been off for these guys, as we saw earlier.
Man.
1,020? What's that?
That's a big swing.
Con.
You feel it in the air tonight.
I'm sure someone can.
I don't know how Fishy gets an ult off this game. Honestly. Has to, not any of those like point ults anyway.
Terminus. You know, I mean, it'll stun through that, but as long as Phoenix is somewhere else.
I mean, Mutu can just billow it, counter it. It's got to be Spunky or Creatives to be like a solo ult onto one of those guys. I don't think there's a really fruitful timeline of Fisheko king bombing onto the objective unless he's positive Battle Shadows down.
Yeah. And, you know, it
doesn't have a lot of downtime.
It doesn't, especially, it really doesn't. It's 10 seconds, lasts for 4 seconds. And there you go. See you later, Theo. He just accepts it, and the rest of Fnatic, I think, are just going to try and see what they can get. Probably not much, but I'm sure the call would just be the back off for now. They're really good at resetting, and with a 1-1, it's okay to reset. You'll have time to get back onto the objective and try it out. 36% counting now for Navi. And Fnatic looking a little bit off the mark here in Jaguar Falls game 2.
Damn, Jordy gets picked there from distance as well. Not good for Fnatic. Creatives might pay for it. Tendo's going to have to try and chase him down. He burns the Buck Wild. It's a tough ultimate to get value for. He finally does and can rotate to the objective, but Thiel is without a healer, and Lazy is still with an ultimate and 2 healers.
Yeah, and everyone else. Lazy finding a double kill. Great stuff from him. It is a build that's supposed to keep him alive, and he's been kept alive thanks to his 2 healers, and Creatives losing that duel distracts Bittner, and it does work out for Navi again in the lead. 10 streak for Phoenix, 6 streak, I believe, for Mutu, 8 streak for Spunky. Things are looking good for Navi.
Yeah, can we see the KDs here? Navi, oh, there they are, 10 and 4 for Mutu. He's had a great couple of rounds here, and this is not a composition or a lot of matchups that I'm expecting Xin to do very well. Fasheko's Bomb King has abused Xin players, going over their counters, punishing any sort of missteps there. He doesn't have dedicated, support or damage amp like the rest of these guys from Fnatic do, but Mutu's still making it happen.
But this is just a rough game for Fish. He's 5 and 10. 6 and 10 now, and it's rough. 6 and 11. For your BK, for a swing vote in your DPS, it's just not doing better than Navi's triple DPS here, and so that's where you have to start to see some results, some action.
He's got good matchups as well. Everything I just said, Mutu kind of goes opposite for Fasheko. This is a matchup I think he should be winning more often than not. He's going over the counter, over the shield from Khan. He has his cauterized to be able to 1v1 Spunky
and maybe it's the focus, right? Maybe he is focusing a lot on the objective, and he's getting not a lot of moments against Mutu there.
He doesn't need a lot of moments. He should just be 2-tapping him. It's tough, man. It's really tough. I think just maybe that mental gear shift, that burrito-esque mid-round adjustment.
Yeah, listen, he gets the kill, but how long is that? It takes a long time. In a point fight, 2 of your teammates die if everyone's fighting from Fnatic and Navi, and maybe it's very hard to... Terminus is a guy you cannot do that with, so that's not a good matchup for him. I just wonder if maybe Creatives is picking his times a little bit better than Fasheko.
He's pretty squirrely, not just because he's playing Pip, but using Weightless fairly effectively, and Jaguar Falls has so many line-of-sight breaks and so many walls for Pip to jump off and make that ability that much more effective.
Ooh, missed Teal right there, for sure, but Creatives has made a few mistakes today, and it's all been forgiven since Navi are in the lead, but gotta hit those. Lazy, not gonna come back now. He's got a little bit from Elvin Path there. And Fasheko cleaning up Creatives. Moxie, it's a good card, but it's tough when you've got a Bomb King with Luminary wailing at you.
Like it never even happened.
Moxie's such an important card, though. Playing with that, the difference is remarkable. Instead of healing yourself for 100, you're healing yourself for 800, 900 in pretty much every circumstance, even caught 3'd, so.
That's all you need. You just need to survive that one extra shot, get one more off from your potion launcher. Pip's got a hell of a roster of cards, to be honest, man.
Seriously.
Hell of a roster.
I also think it would apply, the way it says, it should apply to Gift Giver as well, which is, something I don't see a lot of Mega Potion Pips run Moxie, because it's more of a solo catalyst thing. But it still might be a very impactful card there. And he is not running reload, and that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I have run reload now with this, and I think it works. I think it works very well. Just those extra heals are so important for your team when you do need them, or yourself.
Dedicated to damage this time around, it seems. Creatives, he's worried about himself, running away from Bomb King and just being alive. That's what Pip's all about. Here comes the time and space. He won't find anyone. Dread Serpent on the objective. Finally, something connects for Fasheko. He takes down Lazy with his first ultimate.
And that's big. Natus Vincere, though, still working on that Evil Mojo. There's a ton of value that can be had here, and that's what you do. It's onto the Buck, okay, and looks like Phoenix will lose his life as a result. Lazy's still firing away. They get turned into a chicken, and that's Thiel served up for dinner. Easy protein.
Beautiful cleanup as well. Lazy throws the hand out, immediately drops Calamity Blast. Big swings here. Fasheko and Bugsy very low, but no one really to push them. Navi are more concerned with the objective for the time being. Lazy ducks in and out of cover, weaving in, using the map and Power Siphon to try and keep this lead before Phoenix can get back.
And look at the just juking from Creatives. It's just a tough hitbox to hit for Cassie that far. One of the weird matchups for her. Pip is not the best matchup for a Cassie. He takes away her mobility up close, and far away, he's a little bit too, as you said, squirrely to really reliably hit. And look at this, Mutu finding a double. Lazy lays in with a Calamity Blast and finds all that damage, and now Creative's just running for his life.
Dear God, beautiful play there from Lazy. The disengage just barely gets out. He ran out of juice, and I think it's a little lucky that he didn't get pushed down there because he comes back, drops big Calamity damage. Double kill, 72 to now 90 for Navi. Tanner just has to jump, but he gets caught on a bridge and awkwardly makes it, only to run straight into the Massacre Axe and get cut in half.
Takes about 1,400 damage before he starts to actually go down in health, though, which is just a note of how good that is. But again, Navi in the lead, and this time doesn't look like Fnatic have ever had control in this game. I can only point to really Navi making some clinical mistakes like the early Creatives missed ultimate, but now that he's made an adjustment, it has just looked like all Navi.
Wow, Fnatic manages to get that kill on a Spunky, even though Lazy seemed to have him covered with the Power Siphon there. It's very, very short-range kills. I think Power Siphon probably just wouldn't calculate. I'm not a technical genius, and I don't pretend to be, but I imagine there's some funny business when it comes through quickly. Tenor.
Flank Terminus.
It's 2 deaths in a row now. He has just not had the life that he hoped for.
And great use, great kind of adjustment, I think, of the Power Siphon. Unfortunately, doesn't get out alive there, but I like how he stops using it and starts running away. They think, okay, he's out, turns around, catches about 3 more Calamity Blasts worth of damage, but then unfortunately doesn't get the heal in time. Did everything he needed to there. Evil Mojo ready for Creatives. This could be it. I'm expecting it actually will be, because they look pretty good. They look pretty good on this push right here.
Big defense coming up, but not on the side that Navi are pushing. Here comes Mutu and Lazy. Mutu backs off. I want to take a look at the damage charts here just to get a feel for where these DPS players are kind of sitting. Buck not where he normally is. Bugsy and Fnatic still leading the charge, and that's got to be part of the difference here. But the way Bittner says he plays Buck is he is just making space.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like that high damage, look at the KDAs as well one more time, as it looks like that overpower is going to do it for Navi. If you see the kills, Fnatic is most likely still a negative KDA. So all that damage tells me he's just firing into front lines. But it's not helping. And he's actually jumped back up. 14 and 14. He's made a great climb in these last 2 rounds. But it doesn't seem like it's enough to stop Natus Vincere. A big Dread Serpent, a big through time and space. Creatives finds one on the Bittner. But Fnatic again focusing front lines here. Finds Phoenix in what may be the biggest kill of the game thus far.
They are fighting like hell. Creatives looks like he got disengaged or just jumped off the map. And given how this fight is raging continuously on the objective, I don't feel like it's the former double kill for Fishy. Just barely brings this one back.
Wow.
Bazy takes him down, reanimates, puts the damage onto Bittner. They're just trying to stall this objective. Kevin trying to make the hero play.
What a call, Nick. What a call.
In his debut.
This is not going to work. They're not going to push this now. Lazy made the call to reanimate. They've got another round. This is game on the line. That was risky, and it does not pay off. Navi now, no reanimate. Heading into the final round of this game, will that come back to haunt them?
Bulk up Buck just eats the reanimate like he doesn't even care, man.
Seriously.
Feels bad. That's 4,000 damage he just shrugged off.
And this was the right, I think, idea. But it went wrong
I don't know.
with Fnatic.
I think you could have killed him.
You could have waited.
That was a 5-on-1.
You could have waited there.
You could have just killed them with fire and weapons and in hands.
Yeah.
And then maybe use the overpower for the next fight coming through.
What about a resurgence for Fnatic, though? I mean, having that rough start, you know, it pays off there big time. 3 big kills. He's got his full blast shields online. A little bit of nimble and full caught. So this is a dangerous king to oppose.
He really wants to win this 1v1 with Creatives.
Clearly.
That's what's been giving him trouble,
Creatives doesn't care.
You know, Creatives has, you know, from above to work with 24% inbuilt damage reduction. That shield disappeared. Commander's grab out. No overpower, no reanimate, just a spite.
And Fnatic so good at standing on the point with that Inara. Through time and space is gone. They know that as well.
Big counter.
It looks like that's the Buck Wild, and so that's not going to be any damage, any kills from his Bittner. Navi back in control.
Oh, what an angle!
Away. Mutu finds the angle on to Bittner again. He's going to recover through time and space. Is back. Maybe a little earlier than they thought. And Phoenix finds the kill on the Thiel, though, with Bittner trading out onto Spunky.
Tenor fighting 1.
How many?
Versus 3.
What?
Tenor holding on for longer than he probably should have, putting them in position to be punished by Fnatic. 1-2 taps to Mutu. Looking looking for another on the Phoenix. Unless he has the battle shout, he's going to eat this one straight to the dome.
Yeah, he definitely had it. At the time it takes to wind it up and to go get to him, it was clear he was going to have that available. Pacheco doesn't get much from that, but he gets spacing, and that's
huge.
important. Gets Bugsy off the battlefield, and he battle shouts that one as well. He's going to die, but 96%, 99. We've got a tie ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Fnatic grab the victory there with a good point fight, and notably, no reanimate from Terminus.
Love it. Love what I saw from Tenor there. Big headshot on Namutu. Kills Spunky. Pacheco killed Spunky as he comes back. No healing for like 3 minutes there from Navi on that final objective fight.
It was a good job from them, but again, it's interesting ult management.
Close.
And, you know, you got to say that you take those calls, you take those risks. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. Game 2 under wraps here, and now let's send it back to the desk to talk about that and get ready for Game 3.
It's a tied up set, everybody, and in the moments, excuse me, wow, I just breathed in like the wrong way. In those moments right before the last point fight actually happened, using the reanimate and things like that kind of put them in a hard position.
And that was really, I think, especially for that last one, where it's just, if you have that second Terminus life, it might make the big difference there. Fnatic, though, looked incredibly solid. There were several times that early on it kind of felt like you could see them tripping over the fact that that CC immunity from Khan was really paying off for Navi, where it's like, hey, I'm going to bomb key. Oh, well, it's not going to do anything here. I'm going to hit everybody. I hit 3-4 people, and they're all still walking away from me. I'm not going to be able to, use that to get a double, a triple kill. So there was a lot that early on they were having trouble combating it, and then eventually they were like, okay, well, we can bait it out by doing this, and then you can just come in on the side with that Bomb King and eat everyone apart.
Once things came online, it really worked, and with the Bomb King having that just at their disposal, Pacheco really just coming into his own as he always seems to do at some point if he gets that opportunity to wind things up, and whether it was using his ultimate or right here just keeping some great angles onto Navi.
And it just felt like when you didn't have to worry about, I want to specifically say, like, the battle shout kind of going against your ult. Every other moment of this was just phenomenal. I mean, just being able to chase him down. There's no real return damage being looked at. Like, Navi's not paying enough attention to him, and he's just getting a lot of free damage from the side.
Some crazy moments early on within that game as well, where the first point was taken after a wall, after an Evil Mojo that followed up from the Inara CC. And those are those kind of moments that, as they said while casting in, that's not going to happen every time for someone like Creatives, but in that moment it did, and it mattered. And
that's really, I want to say, like, the make or break. When it came down to who wins these games, it is how did you use your ult, and how effective was it? Did you get a lot from it? Lazy using that reanimate when he did. Did you really get anything from it? Because you died almost immediately afterward. You were locked down. You contested for a little bit, but it didn't buy enough time for your team. You look at that Evil Mojo early on, it's like, well, you threw that out very blatantly too late. Like, it was just, there was no way that was going to be worthwhile for you. And now it's a resource that's been gone. Those small things in this matchup are the big make or break for who's going to win.
Well, let's see where we're actually going for game number 3. Tied up series as it stands, Stone Keep. And I think the thing about that, though, is Navi can look back and see those moments where it was a difference in decision-making. And also, if that moment you get reanimate and it lands in the perfect way and you go and you win the game, then you say, yeah, that was great. Go with that aggression. But it didn't quite work out.
I'm kind of curious as to see where, I want to say picks and bans are driven, because now we're going to a map that has much more open point. Similar, I want to say, to Frog Isle in a way, but also there's a lot. I like the fact that Shaolin and Drogos have as much priority on the bans that both of these teams are giving, because this is like, Makoa is scary. You have Khan, who's pretty scary right now, given the right composition, the right players. You have Cassie, who's really good. But these are two champions, the Shaolin and the Drogos, that given to the wrong player will end your team.
And also Cassie and Khan getting locked in for Fnatic. Makoa and Terminus. So it's a combination that can be pretty deadly on Stone Keep.
A lot of second lives. Being able to give themselves like, hey man, I'm almost dead as Makoa, so I can pop that up and go full health bar. Terminus, I'm actually dead. And now I can just kind of try to cancel that out. It's a really good circle bomb, I guess, when it comes down to it. Like, hey, I'm on the point. If you're standing on the point with me, you're going to blow up. They don't have as much to block that damage. Normally a Nara wall, you just throw it up. Hey, cool, I eat it. A shield goes up. Khan can actually do that. But a lot of what Fnatic has, they're not worried too much about Terminus, I want to say. They're going to have to lock down this Eevee.
And the Genos-Xin combination on the opposite end, try and break through some of those larger HP pools. And it's going to be Ruckus to round it all out. So, who are you favoring?
Man, this is very difficult. Depending on how this Eevee plays, I think it leans a little bit towards Navi, just because a good Eevee literally will put the team on her back.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Eevee, we've seen with Sheko, what he's been able to do with that pick in the past, and now Navi bringing that. If you have Makoa and Terminus just holding on the point, then should be fairly comfortable situation for you. But let's go ahead and find out what happens. Game number 3, everyone.
Well, Fnatic now facing off against the best of 3 between Navi. These two teams can't keep this thing simple. They have to go 5 games, 7 games every time they play.
Now, this is frankly, I feel a little bit of an outdraft from Navi. They have so much self-sustain. They forced Fnatic into a more awkward spot than I think they've had to deal with all day. And the fact that I think whoever's playing this Xin is going to have to go guillotine. There's so much resilience from this front line, and they don't have anything else to just one-shot and wipe someone off the table when I think they really need it.
The set's been decided by little things from the beginning of time, and it will continue to be decided here at Stone Keep. Creative's finding his chance to perform on the Eevee, where Fisheko got his opportunity, and I don't think he felt very good about seizing it as much as he would have liked. Lazy here on the Terminus yet again. Maybe a chance at redemption for him. And that ultimate that did not work his way, or Navi's way here. Bugsy running on this really consistent kind of 2 games in a row now. Front line of Ruckus, and Fisheko starting off super strong, finding Mutu just like that.
I'll say that's an early kill on a Mutu, and great decision from Jordy to just dismount everyone from Navi. He completely negates that purchase of Master Riding from Lazy, who is now at a little bit of a loss. He doesn't know where he wants to go because Terminus is so immobile and his team is not winning this fight.
It's a super value kind of dismount, as you mentioned, Nick. As you could say, no extra credits earned from him, but definitely credits value lost from Lazy. 54% for Fnatic. Phoenix in the back line just causing trouble, creating some space for Creatives to play out of. But a good blast shot there from Bugsy. He's going to turn it around. Sheko holding down this left corner really well.
He's gone into the Marabus, but leads us to believe he's picked up the guillotine. First couple of swings go out onto these front lines. Fnatic definitely thanking their lucky stars for that early first pick on Mutu, because kills are not going to come easy in this game.
What timing there as well. Before he can get the billow off, or maybe he just doesn't press the billow quick enough. Either way, it seems like Natus Vincere having some really good moments and really good patience. Mutu's just, he's so known for that, being patient on this buck and just biding his time until the moment is right.
So many things picked away from Fnatic in terms of their incredible DPS, and that first spike won't land. That's big. When you're running Guillotine, you are all in on this ultimate. That's how you're getting value.
Yeah, and he just missed, because I think he was going for Phoenix. It had to be just a miss. No CC immunity on activation like an Inara might have. Creatives finds a kill in the Jera. I think that spike missing might have just sent this round the way of Fnatic. Excuse me, Navi.
I don't know, man. This is a good map for Fnatic traditionally. They were smoking people at the Masters Lands on this map. But big changes here. Double front line. They don't get to do what they love to do on this map. So many DPS banned out. Bugsy's now on the secondary frontliner, and the kills are coming for Navi.
I almost thought, hey, we gave Blink to Ice Block. I didn't realize we did that, but a little bit of jump in action there and staying safe. Fisheko,
The Soar block.
Yeah, the Soar block.
Slock.
Of course. Creatives is really, I mean,
he's creative in how he uses the kit.
He is. And he always has been a very creative guy in Paladins. He starts a lot of trends.
Trendsetter. Nice dodge roll away from the hook as well. Jordy's ready to go on the ultimate. That spite's going to connect. Lazy goes down. Probably not going to be reanimating. Hasn't charged that up to full. It's very difficult to come by charge on an open map like Stone Keep. Not a lot of these swings are landing.
And then getting a commander's grab. Going to Ice Block yet again. Gonna blink away, get that flicker healing, and Sheko goes down. What felt a little delayed ends up being a kill there. Oh, and now this is rough trouble. Way to ride the wave from Bittner as well, who's backing away, still getting healed though from the Genos Astral Mark, but one shot might be able to do it.
That's a small difference. You know, I think Fisheko hits one of those 2 autos and confirms that kill, keeps this momentum rolling for Fnatic. That's why he's the best Eevee player in the world for my money.
Yeah, and Creatives, though, happy to just allow his sustain to kind of play off of this. You talk about a single front line and Eevee doing this, but a duo front line, I mean, that's 3 people you have to pay attention to, especially when one is Makoa and the other's Terminus.
I really like this angle that he's working with right now. However, I'd like to see him be blinking up into the back line and maybe looking for a squishier target there. Theo's proving to be pretty difficult. Creative just goes right over the top of the shield.
Caster's Curse in a good way. And Ice
Say the
Block
opposite of what
here.
you want to happen.
Exactly. And oh boy, he is landing these shots now, isn't he? He's starting to get warm. That is not a good look. Natus Vincere. And I really think, to me, it's just overwhelmed, Nick. What do you do? This is the early kill that we saw. How did Mutu get deleted so fast? That's not really him even playing the game.
We got hit by, I don't know, Makoa shot, an Eevee shot, and a Zen
shot.
swing all at the same time.
Yeah, it had to be just like a blast shot combo plus a Zen swing.
Some rockets.
Some rockets, yeah. Oh boy, fade to dust.
Point spawning in 15 seconds.
A lot of lockdown, a lot of damage coming through from Creatives, who doesn't play a ton of Eevee. He didn't really start playing it until I think
he does.
He felt like he had to
I'm
from Fnatic.
gonna correct you here. He played Eevee, and I noticed so well. He was the first guy I saw play Eevee against Bird back when Saris was one of the newest champions, and there was no way to counter her. And he would be so good at forcing this Saris shadow travel on Serpent Beach. And it was before he was on a team. It was like a Flashpoint-ish type team. I was just so impressed with Creatives.
Well, that's a long time ago.
A long time ago.
That's not really what I'm referencing at all. I'm talking about, you know, who brought it back. It was gone for a long, long, long time, and Fisheko was kind of the first one to bring it back.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is, absolutely. Eevee's been in and out in this latest meta. He's got the toolkit ready to bring back out of the garage if he needs to. Nice soar as well. A couple of these shots should land, and he does find it. This seems like just a, I don't know, man, light work for Creatives, who looks like he's just ice blocking for fun now in a spray to culminate that event.
Can we look at the KDs here? These streaks are starting to creep pretty high for Navi. There is only 4 deaths across the board. One of Lazy's comes off the back of a spite. And that's what I think we kind of saw in the draft coming, that there is so much sustain from Spunky, plus self-sustain, plus resets from these frontliners. Fnatic are just struggling to get kills.
And it is a problem when you struggle there. And this is what they struggle with, the little things, but now turning into bigger things from a team perspective. Creatives and the rest of Navi are feeling good. They won the LAN. They won the big one they felt was most important of deciding who's the better team. And Fnatic just brings up that visions that we saw, all of them sitting on the ground and really not knowing where to go with their careers from there.
Broken, man.
That's the best word to describe it, just broken. And I wonder how they will do with adversity now that Navi are poised to take game number 3.
I would say I'm happy that they've stuck together. You know, after the loss in Vegas, heartbreaking as that was, the loss here at the Masters LAN, I think this is just a great team, and I think that win has got to come sooner or later as long as they stick together and keep working on it.
And what sucks is they really didn't cherish the Spring Finals win, you know. They really didn't cherish that Game 7. They were just kind of like, we don't get both. It doesn't matter. But, you know, I think that's – I wouldn't look at it that way. But I know they did,
tough, yeah.
And that's the issue here. How do you come back? How do you bounce back from that? Navi feel like they're not the ones who are, you know, doing anything incredible here. But I will say, I'm very happy to see how well Lazy has gone into this lineup.
Yeah, it's really quite impressive. I think you have to give Navi a lot of credit to be able to hit the ground running against a team like this, to be able to bounce back so quickly, build a synergy with this guy that didn't play the final 2 weeks of the spring split. He's really hit the ground running and had a great show.
And I don't think there's another guy you could trade Unbelievable for and feel this confident with. Just as Lazy's been around forever. He's one of the founders in terms of competing at the first tournament ever for Paladins. He was on Thiel's team at that time. They suffered a very disappointing defeat, but it just goes to show that he's been given a lot of trust, and that trust has paid off. Navi now in the lead, and Fnatic are looking at their first defeat potentially.
I feel like they got outdrafted there for the first time this whole set long. For the first time in a long time, they didn't look comfortable, and Navi just handled them.
What will Navi do? What will Fnatic do after, again, facing elimination, at least in terms of losing this set from Navi yet again? Let's send it back to the desk.
Especially looking at how tight those first couple games are. And you go into game 3, and it's a 4-0, man.
It was way faster than I expected coming out of it. It was just one of those things where it's like you look up You look down, you take one note, and then you look up and you're like, the game's completely changed from what I had just last seen. I have to write something else down. And a lot of that for me, I mean, it was mainly creatives. Like his EV, at first it was kind of like, okay, well, I'm here. And then as time went on, it was just, I'm here. You have to look at me, or I'm just going to run away with double kills, triple kills, and just cause so much trouble for you.
And I love just that we've been able to see Lazy fit so nicely within this team, where everyone's always going to question us. He's a great player.
Yeah.
He's been around for a long time. He knows the game. He knows how to play it. But when it comes to synergy, is he going to be able to fill the role that they need? And so far, it seems so.
I'll admit, like, coming into this, I was kind of shaky because I was like, you know, what is he going to do when he gets picked up? Like, where is he going to fit? How are they going to adapt to him? And is it going to look like, you know, with a lot of their drafts, I was like, well, this looks pretty similar to how they were drafting with Unbelievable, especially going into that first game. I'm like, does this really change anything? He's played phenomenally, and the team does look better. And it was, like, really difficult when you take a world championship class team and then make them better. It just becomes frightening.
Well, we're going to game 4, so with things going in the favor so far of Navi and having such a strong performance after last game, I think both these teams are going to have to weigh in heavily in this draft, because with Fnatic, if you look at everything that they picked up last time, it wasn't necessarily, there wasn't much that was, okay, that's definitely something that they can really turn the tide with as that player connecting to it.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think, a good map for them to try and take it to bring things back in their favor. This is one that I want to say, in terms of other maps, is most like Jaguar Falls, where they had their success. And depending on how they draft it is really, I think, the thing that shakes it up. And I think that's partially why the con ban comes through, where it's like, we know we're not going to take it. We know what we want to run. Probably some Bomb King in the mix. Maybe a Drogo's, depending on this last ban. And that is just to make sure that Navi will not have something to counter them.
I was saying, if you're not going to play and you don't want to deal with it, then you have to ban it away. And then Shaolin, they've been consistent taking that off as well, because of the way we saw Mutu on it in game 1. And it's one of those picks that really multiple members on that enemy team can actually pick it up and be very effective.
Nara is probably the best person to have as a solo frontline. So this is, I think, one of the strongest pickups for teams like Fnatic. Mainly, I think it'd maybe be a little bit better if it was Navi, because it's like one of those things, like, if you want to go just solo frontline, Anara's perfect. If you want to go double frontline, Anara's still perfect. It's not really going to give out too much, but because it's Fnatic, it's kind of like, well, we know where you're going with this. You almost need to maybe think about another frontline when you have something like a Drogo's on the other side, though.
Yeah, and Drogo's, he was banned away previously, so now that he's made available, Navi actually prioritized him really early within the draft.
Yeah, being able to come through. I mean, honestly, I think there's a big point of that of, we don't want to give it to Fnatic. We can play it just as well, but we definitely don't want them to have it. And, of course, you get the one-punch kill on Inara. If she is a solo frontline, that usually makes the beginning of a round so much easier, especially if you start to fall behind.
And now you've got Inara for Thiel, you've got the Eevee for Fasheko. You're feeling a bit more within that stride of, okay, we've owned on these champions before, rounded out with a Pip. And going into Navi, though, Drogo's has gained a lot of popularity ever since some of the most recent changes to him. Terminus has been great for Lazy, but Maldamba's going to be the last pickup, so double support for Fnatic.
And I like the way they've drafted this, because it's Maldamba goes with Inara. Hand in hand, they are going to be able to, and that gives a little bit more focus, I want to say, for the Maldamba, and lets Pip kind of flex around wherever he wants to go, wherever he feels comfortable. He's going to be able to get a little bit more damage, mainly focusing more on Catalyst than I think what we're going to see out of a Mega Potion.
So now, on the side of Navi with Buck, Xin, Drogos, Genos, and Terminus, you have the single front line, so that's going to be facing off against that on Fnatic. You excited to see them duel it out?
Yeah, I'm really curious as to how this one's going to go. Eevee is a game changer, as we just saw, but there you have a very solid lineup for Navi.
Yeah, very different drafts coming out of these two. Let's go ahead and find out if Navi can close it, or if Fnatic will push this to a Game 5.
Well, it's hard to really count any of these players out in any fashion, anything Paladins related, but part of me thinks that Navi are actually in a position to win here, and I think that they actually will take this game based on the draft.
This is going to be pretty interesting. I'm curious to see, is it Phoenix or is it Lazy flexing off? Because if it's Phoenix, as it traditionally has been, there's no Sha and there's no Leon, which are the two things that he's traditionally played when it has come time to flex onto DPS. And if you look at this lineup and look at what Lazy has flexed onto in the past, there was a Drogos in his wheelhouse.
Worm Jets, Drogos.
He's going to bring it back, dude.
Oh, God. Will it happen?
Eminence is to Shady Shades as Wormjets is to Lazy at this point.
Wormjets, I mean, it's a great talent.
Oh, it feels so good to play. It's so hard not to play that.
It's Mood 2, so Lazy's still there, and Phoenix will be the one flexing onto the Zen. Lazy really taking this Terminus. And you know what? Because you have the Terminus, I think it's a smart call. Phoenix, yes, but Lazy's been playing Terminus all game, all set long. And you also give him the vote of confidence. Say, you had that reanimate. It didn't work out, but we still trust you on Terminus. You're still a part of this team. We're happy with how you've played, so go ahead and do it again.
And I love me some Mutu Drogos.
Hey, this thing is it's dangerous, man.
He has such a hit scan reputation, but back in his days before the PPL, he was a really great Drogos player.
A really weird angle for that salvo, though, I will say. He doesn't find a lot onto it, and it's given Sheko a little bit of room to breathe. Creative's battling him down there, and this recovery from Buck is definitely going to be tough. Creative's finding that kill, and he can snowball. He's healthy enough to get back into the fight full. So they got to not lose Bugsy here, because that could be a problem. These are big shots from Bittner. Good heal as well. Can they find Mutu? Bugsy finds Phoenix, and that's probably enough.
Pip has to be big here. It was not a very good pick for Fnatic down the stretch at the Masters event. Going into it, though, it had been such a strong pick. That's why we were like very almost perplexed, a little surprised at the lack of impact from that character in particular, because both Tenor and Fisheko had looked incredible on it prior.
I also have to say, I just find it, I think Mutu has to step up here. We haven't seen much of a Drogos impact. No kills early, no damage on the point. He took the right side flank, lost the duel, and Bugsy ended up killing him. That's just, that's not what you get a Drogos here for. Dragon Punch has not been at the ready. That point fight didn't last long enough as well to get any ultimates on the board.
Pretty crazy how quick it ended when you look at both teams have a roughly similar ability to put pressure on that solo front line. They both have a good solo frontliner, but still Fnatic able to take it hand over fist.
Another completely whiffed salvo. You could see the explosion marks on the ground right in front of Bugsy. Mutu is just being very patient, and I think almost too patient here with his play. Very worried about Bugsy's pressure being applied, and I understand that completely, as he is a very good Cassie player. But he's just he's hiding out, isn't he?
He's getting a couple of angles now, and it's funny how things like that will really affect you. A slow start might make him self-conscious to the point where he, has those hesitation moments. Fishy to the back line now. He got the killing blow, so he's going to get the Soar reset. One more shot here from either player. Big heal. But a bigger rocket from Mutu to take him down.
Yeah, and it's a great follow-up here from Bittner, who plays Catalyst so well. I see my style of play in him with this Pip so much. I just love how aggressive he plays, and I think it really gives his team a wide breathing room. This is the one Pip that could change, the one pick that changes it for me. If he shows up big time, this could easily swing Fnatic's way.
Incredible use of his ultimate as well. They have the ability to just wipe Lazy off the face of the map, as well as a lot of these other players here for Navi. If they get too aggressive, too much pressure in the back line, let's charge a little bit slower next patch, but right now it's that fourth ability. Mutu's coming around for a spicy flank. Fishy's actually going to chase him back to his own spawn.
And that's the thing. Fnatic are coming out here with a totally different energy, and I like the bounce back from them. I had questions. Good stun there from Jera. It's not enough, actually, to find the kill. And he did look like he was moving pretty quickly.
Fishy will try his hand at that very scenic route flank. He gets to the high ground in the enemy spawn, but gets punished for it, taken down. Looks like a Calamity Blast Salvo Spit combo is good for half of Theal's HP. He's getting a ton of healing because it's still the early game, and Inara is going to do this to you for a minute. Overtime has started here, but Theal, he's running out of gas. Fnatic's offense running out of gas.
And a very good counter as well. Nice stuff there from Phoenix finding the kill. Most likely going to find the double. Just a little bit off the timing. Overtime still ticking away, and they're doing their best to keep it alive. Once Jera goes down, though, there's really not much they can do to sustain, as well as Bittner falling. Both healers down, and Fnatic and Navi tied up. Navi, if they win this game, actually take the set in this best of 5, and that's how it started. Bugsy just taking down Phoenix, and Mutu having to just retreat, but it was a day late and a dollar short.
There it is. He's going to find both of those kills. Nice stuff. Playing his angles. Getting the big kill onto Zen as well. That's not easy to do. But like we mentioned, Phoenix, I don't know how comfortable he is on this Zen. I don't think I've seen him play it at this level. It's been all Shaolin and like 1 or 2 Leons when it came time to step up and time to flex.
Yeah, I don't know either. He seems to be doing all right. Mutu 5-2, but again, the game-changing didn't really happen in that round. Yes, those are kills, but those weren't kills that made impacts on that point fight. He was relatively quiet. And
yeah, got to get a couple 2 taps in there.
Bugsy controlled this corridor, and now he's got vision, and I don't know. I don't know if you want to try and fight Bugsy there. Bittner finds an easy kill on the Lazy. Reanimate's available. I think he's just going to hold off. Navi may reset, knowing they lost their front line.
That's the impact of Scout when you've got guys like Mutu who like to just sit on their horse until they find the right angle, and everyone knows exactly where you are. Lazy gets left on an absolute island.
Yeah.
Gets no help and no response from Navi the whole time it was happening. They're just like, oh, I can explain.
Listen, man, they knew where I was. They would have seen me coming. Phoenix finding a kill on the Bugsy. That's a big one. They really respected this corridor he was fighting out of. Fine seal as well. Now Mutu comes alive, gets out alive. That would have been big, but Bittner cleans him up in the air. Not an easy job for a Pip, but he makes it work.
And the Dread Serpent, what does it find? I don't think much on the point there. I don't see anyone get feared. Lazy does go down, but he's right back in it.
Oh my, Catalyst.
Never mind.
That is a lot of damage, and not even Terminus can come back alive a third time. So they will sit down. That reanimate doesn't get the value. No one there really is on the side of Navi, ready to prepare and fight. And Fnatic take the lead again.
What a set. I could watch this one all day. Uh-oh.
Don't have all day. You got to watch the Cavs game.
Fortunately, I do. Parents are coming over for dinner, but thankfully, Dad's a Cavs fan, so he'll allow it.
He'll allow
come
it.
on the TV.
In fact, I think maybe that's why he's coming over for dinner. It's secretly the only reason
Boy, feed me while
he's
I
okay
watch
with
my
it.
Cavs.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason why he's accepting it. Creatives here finding a kill on the Bugsy. Fasheko finding Lazy and a double kill for Fnatic. So defense looking a little bit like it's disapparating. Wow, somehow Bittner makes that a little longer than it should have been on Spunky. And again, looking to find a kill here on the Phoenix. Mutu just dead in the water, looking like, for me.
Good pips, man. Combining with Inara as well, may as well be Mega Potion at this point when he's lining it up with the Earth and Guard healing amp. There's some damage on the Creators.
Love the angle.
2 taps and gets the 832 onto the retreating. Buck has his ultimate available. Lazy does not, so this could be an easy insta-wipe off the board, and he's going to be chicken, and he'll be fried.
Close, man. He waited on that explosive flask, and it could have cost him one. Lazy doesn't seem to have any high-level resilience.
Catalyst Pip 101 here, boys.
Catalyst Pip 101. Come on, you explosive flask thing, you old son. But at this point, he doesn't really need any help. He's hitting mid-air shots on the Drogos and making Mutu worried about him. That's pretty much all you need. Through time and space whiffs, Fasheko still finds a kill, though.
Boy, that got scary for a second there. Lazy falls again, doesn't have his ultimate. Fnatic sneak it through with a couple of people watching. And that's a 3-1 lead. Comeback mechanic enabled. Still no Terminus ultimate online. A rougher shake for young Kevin. Bottom damage in the game, 3 and 8.
And this is probably the hardest solo frontline experience you could have. You had a Catalyst Pip slowing you. And let's look at Lazy's build, because he may not have any inbuilt counters. A thing like It Follows would have been huge in this moment, but Lazy doesn't have a deck for it. And he's going with that old style, but not being able to be slowed at all would have been a big deal to escape some of that turnaround, get in a better position, because he's only got Genos healing.
He's not gotten any resilience yet. Warder's Field and Catalyst slows from the explosive flask. Two things that, when you look at how Catalyst works, when you're not slowed, you're not taking the bonus damage.
Right. It's pretty, I don't know. It's a tough one here, and he's trying to get the Warder's Field down. That's the big key, but fighting onto the Gourd is tough. Fighting into Inara is tough. He has some Decimation Blast. Oh! Not going to be enough. The Calamity Blast, excuse me. He's going to Shatterfall there, but to me, I ask why. I don't know if that was a min-max play. You don't have your movement speed. Inara doesn't get slowed, and Fasheko and Bittner have found 2 kills already.
Someone's got to clean up Jordy. Too much invested, not enough. Is returned. Lazy with a good idea, a good setup, but there was no pressure from Xin or Buck. No one had any backline presence. Here comes the Dragon Punch. Might find Theo. Was he in range? The wall goes up, and Mutu is stuffed. Finds Bittner. One on the Phoenix as well, but an 81-7 lead for Fnatic.
Yeah, and it's probably enough to turn this tide in their way, as if it hadn't been already. Mutu and the Drogos, I haven't liked it. I'm not going to lie. I love Mutu as a player. I love his Drogos. Today didn't look good for me. Fnatic looked so much better here, and really, as Bittner on the pit stole the show, in my eyes, and continues to steal the show. Bugsy's a big threat here, 81%. Fnatic trying to climb back, but Navi with the comeback mechanic almost get it. But not quite.
Coming in like a freight train. Lazy reanimates, blocked off by the wall. Mutu hit by the Evil Mojo, but he pops out with no troubles whatsoever. Lockdown, damage reductions, not enough to save Creative. Soaring back to the objective now. to stuff Mutu. Almost prevents him from getting into the
Yeah.
window outright. He just boxes him out with an ice block.
Nice little bit of tech there. Lands perfectly. So cancels the billow at the soar at the perfect time. That's just a guy who's played a lot of EV on Bright Marsh, a lot of EV in general, and as we expected, Fnatic tie it up, send it to a Game 5 here. So I think it's time to send it to the desk, Nick. No more talking. We'll talk next time it shows up. Last game of the set, deciding it all in week number 1.
If any set was going to go to Game 5, we knew it would be this one.
It's been a lot of Game 5s this week.
Yeah.
What was it? It was 5-4, 5-5 yesterday, and then now 3-5 today.
And I think a lot of the way that Fnatic was able to come through so effectively was we've seen the pip from Bittner before, but then Lazy got targeted so often.
Yeah.
Every time there was an evil mojo, it was just right in his face for deletion.
And it I feel like the theme was set up for that to happen the entirety of the game very early on, where it's just Lazy went in, the fight was going on, and Lazy was dead. He was the first one to go, and then you could see Navi like, okay, well, how do we fight around this now? Maybe we can pick up some kills over here, but we don't have anyone to get on the point.
And then during that fight, you had Bugsy once again on this Cassie, where Bright Marsh, sometimes if a fight's going on in the right place, you can sit in these side rooms, look through the windows, and get your shots down that way. And Bugsy was taking full advantage of that, so he could have that kind of coverage that he needed to be able to free fire.
And I would say it was like really patient feeling Cassie play, where it's just his aim was always on. He would maybe miss a couple shots here and there, but for the most part it was always like, well, I'm going to hit you now. Okay, you're dead. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit that guy now. And it was just methodical. Like, it just seemed like he knew exactly what he was doing. Again, it feels like second nature, and even right there you can see again coming in, just cleaning up kills.
He didn't get too up close and personal, which sometimes you can get caught up in it on Bright Marsh because you step out and you're in the middle of 3 of your enemies, but great navigation of the map. And Fnatic, you figured that when it's on them and they're about to be eliminated in that game, that they can go push it to Game 5, and that's exactly what they did.
And now going into it, I mean, this is, I want to say, the interesting area of a set, because that last map, that is, okay, Fnatic, they lose Game 3, we know where we want to go. We want to be able to go to Bright Marsh. Okay, now Navi's like, cool, we're taking you to Frozen Guard. Let's see what you got.
So then on Frozen Guard, do you think that these teams are going to go for that single frontline composition or to fall back to some of the compositions they used earlier within the set?
I kind of feel like Fnatic don't care if they go single or double with whatever composition they have. They just want to get one that feels comfortable for them, which is, again, relatively easy since they have so many players that can flex around. Navi, I think if you're going to go solo frontline, especially after the way that one went, I think you have to switch out Lazy for Phoenix. You give Lazy something that he can carry on or something he can do consistent damage with, and then Phoenix kind of take that mantle back once again.
I think it also depends if you're going single frontline, which frontline you do pick, but I could see a world where they go with a bit more comfort by having a combination, and Nara's being the first lock-in, so that gives you the option for both types of compositions.
I think Anara's like, if you're going to start trying to practice how to be a solo frontline, Anara's the training wheels to get into it, right? She's the one that it's like, okay, you've got damage reduction, you've got some in-kit healing if you go with the right loadout, you can take a ton of healing, you just buy resilience, get on the point, do your thing, and then you can start trying to translate that onto, you know, like a Fernando, or I'm going to try to do solo Khan, I'm going to do solo Barrack sometimes, and just see how it works.
Because both of these teams wanted to ban away the snipers, that means that Shaolin was available again. So Navi, on their second round of picks, decide to pick that up alongside Buck.
I actually really like this for this map. I feel like this is a good area where Buck can have a lot of mobility without getting caught out too often, and so that means a lot of engage without getting poked out before he gets there, and a lot of disengage without having just one stray arrow or stray bullet, anything, come and find him on the way out. And the same thing kind of goes for Shaolin, but to a slightly lesser extent.
And then Eevee, Fischeko back on this pick. So everyone, you got the Shaolin,
It's a little scary.
Eevee, Genos, Cassie, Khan, where it didn't really work out for Fnatic in all cases, but they decide to go back with it and taking it first pick because they didn't want Phoenix on it.
It's this area where you look at Cassie and Eevee and you think, well, that's a lot of damage, especially with the players who are going to have them. Very consistent and very good aim on all of them. Here's a Luminary buff. Okay, well, they just became a lot more deadly. Well, now here's also the Battle Shout buff. They are going to be fragging out. Like, they're going to find kills unless you shut them down. That buff, or at least one buff, is going to be on one of them all of the time.
And now, this is the lineup for Navi all rounded out, and Terminus last pick over for Fnatic. So they're going to go with the double front line, whereas it looks like Navi are actually sticking with the single.
I like a lot of the individuals on Navi. I like a lot of the way, like, the champions, how they can mesh together, but I feel like Fnatic have a much stronger team-built composition.
Well, it's Game 5, our last game of the day, so let's find out if Navi or Fnatic managed to make the largest splash in our first week of the split.
Thanks, Gabby and Gore. I'm not sure who's going to win this one, and I think it's really coming down to execution for Navi if they want to take this set.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of an awkward, but some power picks on either side, forcing Phoenix onto Leon. It's good for Frozen Guard, and I think that's the biggest boon to his performance. And he also has things like Enlightenment to deter Fasheko from completely snowballing a fight. But at the same time, I assume it'll be Bugsy. We saw Theo playing the Khan earlier, but that's only because Ruckus, the very clear secondary frontliner. This time around, the point frontliner tends to be more of Theo's job, and we haven't seen a Khan from Bugsy yet.
It's been a really good run on Cassie from Bugsy, but Bittner's played it a couple of games, played on a Stone Keep game, which they lost 4-0. So hopefully that doesn't go the same way for Fnatic here, as Bugsy's now on Khan. And the double front line, again, this is something that is something that Fnatic have not accepted as their style of play for quite a while. Phoenix here with this Leon legendary. Death and Taxes most likely, but with the build that supports a lot of resets of his presence if he hits multiple people. We've seen that show up in a lot of ways. It's actually a pretty good angle to do it because it's almost guaranteed you'll hit someone. And already a lot of chunks damage onto the side of Fnatic.
They chase Mutu out even after the heal up. That's one Mending Spirits that's not landing on the Lazy. He's sitting about half HP on the objective at the moment. And even he's forced to give it up. He built in a Rejuvenate first item. So this Maldamba and this Inara combination should be very hard for them to deal with. A lucky turnaround of the Power Siphon. First blood goes to Fnatic.
And I mean, Theo's just so lucky that that didn't hit. It was not, he wasn't even aiming towards it. It just clipped the right side. I mean, they had him locked and loaded, and so if you're Navi, you say, give me that one back, please. Mutsu doing some good jukes and jiving. Bittner finding some damage, getting healed up lovely-wise by Jera. And Creative still poking on the right side.
Gotta be careful. This Leon should be coming back pretty shortly. Stun combo won't land there. Mutu able to jump away yet again. The noose tightening. Fnatic, they got a first blood, but they weren't able to convert that into much of a lead on the point.
Ooh, that wall was like more of a slice of pizza than an actual wall. Lazy's not happy with that. And he's going to just throw it down to Warder's Field instead. Nobody has ults yet, but it's getting to that time, Nick. This fight has gone for quite a while. Now Phoenix finding a big kill on the Theo frontline advantage on the side of Navi.
2 kills in the first 2 minutes. First ultimate starting to hit the board. Now the Ice Storm crippling out one. Phoenix finds the kill. Fasheko flying around, not finding much though. So much open space for him to be worried about.
Oh my, Phoenix is snowballing this fight. Mutu as well getting in on the action with a double kill, but I think Phoenix gets about 3 there, and Natus Vincere take the first objective against Fnatic in Game 5.
Navi had control of probably 75% of the relevant map space that entire time.
Yeah.
And you had constant, pitchfork prong attacks coming from Mutu. Yes, the first 4 or 5 fail, but when one of those succeeds, it's all over. You don't have anywhere to back up to.
And that fight could have been over when he first tried to impale Theo and throw his planet on him. He found a lot of damage either way, but it was something that, you say Theo gets a little lucky there. Phoenix, no luck involved with that aim. Has the presence of mind to use the presence on to Terminus and finds the kill. Navi looking very smooth.
So many kills coming out from Phoenix. What
nice
a transition for him to be able to have here for his team. Proven to be a very effective DPS player when it's required of him. Sheko blinks straight back to his own doom. Lazy doesn't have a lot of his team backing him up at this moment. So he's just going to push his payload as far as it'll go and then back off to Spunky.
Get a little bit of damage as well. Who would have thought he'd be solo frontlining against Theo? Dual frontlining.
Times change.
For Theo. Times have changed, and things have changed here. Lazy on his debut with Navi. Doing what not a lot of people thought would happen considering how well Fnatic came out, which is potentially taking this set.
Lazy's getting so much push right now. He just pushed that up to about 90-95% of the way that it needs to go. No one's down contesting.
A little bit more.
And every inch matters when it's this close.
And this is the thing. If he pushes a little bit more, they're going to have to start contesting on the low ground. And that's where you're going to open shots up for Phoenix, shots up for Creatives. They're already well positioned. I mean, this could go through. One big planted, and that's all it takes. Plants a seed. Into the wall, double kill for Creatives. Navi looking to storm through the gates and push this one in.
There it is. Theo has his ultimate if he needs it as well. Might want to elect to pop it just to hold this defense. Bugsy will fall.
It's too late,
Fnatic
son.
are crumbling, and they won't pop any of the big E's to get this one back. They have all ultimates available versus just one from Navi, a 2-0 lead. 6-2 for Phoenix as well, bringing a lot of heat.
It's a day late and a Dua Lipa short.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to lay down some new rules for you before we get on cast.
Oh, there it is. Vox, did you come back?
I'm hip.
I'm hip.
I'm with it.
I'm hip. I got some.
Point spawn in 15 seconds.
We don't know how Navi.
Wish you a Merry Christmas.
I don't know how Navi have done this. And I think that Fnatic on paper look very equipped to handle this draft, but you don't expect the 6-2 from Leon. You just don't expect it. But Phoenix was so dominant, and Fnatic are playing, Navi are playing so well with this Maldamba lazy combination.
Yeah. 3-0 start for him, 10 streak burning. 0-6 for the Fnatic front line. Theo shrugs that stun off. He'll be okay for now, and the anti-heal is something that Fnatic have to just be able to play around there. You know, they have Genos. They don't have burst healing in combination with a character like Leon who's going to be able to keep a lid on that very sustained throughput.
And he goes into the Ice Storm, but it's a place where he can't really follow up. Lazy goes right into the seismic crash, but I mean, look at that move. They all move as one.
Love
a
it.
concerto finishing in a beautiful crescendo, and that's it. That's all she wrote.
I love that as well. Just the trust, because sometimes when you hit an Ice Storm that big, you are Eevee. You have 1,800 HP at best to give. You have to blink away. You can't really be a lot of follow-up onto your own big ultimates. It has to come from the boys.
And it does. And it's just right on time as well. That's what Fnatic needed. A big swing, a big kind of 99, 100-0 fight to let them know they're not out of it at all. Navi, though, if they hold, will be 3-1, still have a chance to win next round. Unless Fnatic push it all the way through.
210 to do so. Fisheko holding down the spearhead for now, but he's running into Mutu, who it's tough to burst down because he's on a 4-second timer. And Mutu, he's only got a 5-second heal cooldown, so a very small window, if at all, to bring down that big boy. Theo does the trick. And now it looks like Fnatic will run into about the same speed bump that Navi hit the first time.
And this zone is really, you know, that battle shot was just for damage. Just give me the 20% amp. It's stuff that you wish you could do in casual games, but you just can't. And however, Bugsy and Itzbitner showing it off doesn't end up working. They don't find enough, and that CC immunity avoids the stun that Spunky had set up for him.
Shout outs to that stun.
But should a snake be able to stun the Primus of House Ico? I don't know. I don't see him going down to a snake in all that armor.
Everyone's allergic.
Everyone's allergic to snakes in the realm. Except Black Magic, who comes from the same village as Maldamba. Fun fact. Actually, it's a village to the south. He's a cousin.
South Central?
South Central. Listen, Vox Jr. We're going to have some words after this cast.
Creatives finds the kill here as a bit of a stalemate.
Is that what Vox will name his son? Vox
What?
Jr.?
Fox Jr.? I don't know.
I think that would be a funny
Box.
person. Vox Jr. would be a funny person in the world.
Definitely.
Great kid.
Oh, man. I just fear the level of dad joke from Hugh Judson.
Dad joke levels.
God help us.
They would be on an all-time high, I will say that.
God help us all.
The kid would be born in puns.
And there's the Enlightenment forcing out Fisheko. Finally some action here in the last 20 seconds of the round. These two teams haven't
I thought
been
they
able
fell
to really
asleep.
scratch the surface. I almost did.
We started talking about alternate futures and sons who have not yet been
Fox's
made.
darkest timeline.
At least, I don't know. You know, Pusha T exposed a son of Drake's. Maybe we're exposing a son of Vox's. Is that true?
Drake is his son.
Drake is his son. Drake's son is Vox
My boy.
Jr. How did that work out? I'm not going to ask.
All negative across the board. Negative feedback here for Fnatic. Down 3-1 on the map that they lost the Masters LAN on. Is it going to be another quadra kill from Jordy's Genos to bring this one back? That's how they were able to do it.
That's right.
During the online split on this very map. Sheko has, you know, he's got the chops to set it up with an Ice Storm.
Spunky with the hot, pungent gourd value rise. Stocks on that card going up. and I can't tell you if they're worth it or not.
5,
Dang, Spunky runs Pungent Gourd?
And
Oh,
lighter
damn, I gotta
gourd.
hit that. Yeah.
I've literally never seen pungent gourd.
I have never seen that card. Spunky, what are you doing? That 0.8-second reveal is going to change the game.
anti-Shaolin.
The anti-Shaolin Gourd, dude. Maybe. I don't know. There's the overpower. It's probably going to get a kill here. Shells him in the sky as Bittner finds that on the Mutu. Gourd going down. Huge reveal from the Gourd. Bugsy finds creatives.
enemy.
And Bugsy finds another onto Spunky.
Yet again, there's Bittner picking up one as well. Comeback mechanics. Someone's got to be on the point, though. Fnatic losing a couple of ticks here. And they'll park one of the supports. Jordy has it locked down. Beautiful zone as well. Fall goes according to plan. Yeah, they should be repeating the round prior.
Yeah, I mean, Mutu stays alive, though. That's the problem. And he jumps in. He's got another jump soon. He's got that recovery. He's poking out. It's created space on this right side. Leon may be able to slide in. It's going to be close, man. They lose creatives. They just got to touch. Oh, no. That fight would have been theirs. And that could have been a very dangerous proposition for Fnatic to come back from. But it works out in their favor. 3-2 Fnatic stay alive. And now they get to push for another 2 minutes.
The problem Fnatic have been having is they don't have, first of all, Lazy just got so much free push in that first round, so it's tough to say exactly how Navi would have handled this situation, but Shaolin and Leon are able to box out just much more effectively at the long range than Fnatic are able to, so unless it's a pick that comes off the back of like a dropship Fisheko with a bunch of bonus damage, he doesn't have a lot of great options, unless he can maybe force out an Enlightenment or something, I don't know.
Right.
They had literally 2 minutes to break that choke in the prior round, and they did not at all.
It's going to be a tough one, that's for sure. You know, the range of Navi, the flexibility, because Shaolin and Leon, yes, they are considered potentially long-range characters, but can operate very well in the mid and even the short range. So that is something that Cassie, despite being able to be that flexible, Eevee isn't really. You got to have a special moment with Eevee where you're just really zoning people out from afar. It can happen, but Frozen Guard's a tough map to find those angles.
Close range is 100% skill. Mid-range, 50-50 luck skill. Long range, it's all luck.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes you can, you know, set your own luck up, but not as far as making sure the shots land by anything else than a little help from your friends and yourself. This is a bad kind of trade. I mean, the damage immunity, Bugsy takes down Mutu, relative ease.
And I love Commander's grab kills because it's like the animation doesn't even have time to go off, so it looks like you just like uppercut them and they just die.
And it's 600 damage. I mean, it's a good amount now.
Big old gut punch, and it happens so quickly. And I would, I would take that every day of the week. I love significant damage from like shoulder bashes and stuff, but it's such a long windup. Commander's grab is very, very quick.
So are you against or are you for it?
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
I think
okay.
in Commander's grabs, it's hard to do it offensively and not get punished so hard for it, so I think it's great when you're able to just use it for damage in any other scenario.
How about Ashe just not having that huge windup anymore? Just having like a little bit of a windup, but not really
15
a big
seconds
windup.
remaining.
I mean, do you think she needs it? Is that like any balance in her kit? I'm not sure. It just,
8,
now that she doesn't have the damage immunity on it,
5,
it's just such a liability.
3,
Yeah.
2,
I don't
People
know.
got so used to it.
You give up the, I mean, it's insane range too. Let's put it that way, right? You know,
Yeah.
That's part of it.
The give and the take.
Yeah. But it seems like he's taken a little more than he's given with that girl lately. Still overtime taken away here. Fnatic have a chance to tie it up. Big blast shot resets a little bit of the cooldown, but Creatives finds too. That should do it.
Yeah. Oof.
And it's still 3-2.
And that might just be the way Fnatic want to win this one. They want to grind it out on the objectives where they can just throw Lazy off of the point, or Mutu in the case of last round. Sometimes Mutu can prove almost as frustrating to deal with as the Inara.
I mean, really good way to keep. I mean, what he did well there was he kept the awareness of where Eevee was in his peripheral vision. Although he couldn't see her, he just knew positionally where he needed to turn, and in an instant was ready for that ice block soar right out of it. Even recorrects to the head as she starts flying.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Headshots are, I think, what separate a lot of great puck players from the good ones. It's incredibly hard to deal with when you're getting close to two-tapped in a lot of situations. Lazy picks up Master Riding Deuce, so he'll be up there quicker than just about anyone. But does he get scooped right off the map?
And the Buck Wild is here, and so this could be used. I think maybe Mutu baiting it out, right? And that's the key. It's a really good kill, finding Spunky, but it's Creatives who also falls. Steel is the one to go down. Excuse me, Steel's the one to find a kill onto Lazy. And it's a full wipe on the Navi again. And with this zone, it's just a better point fight from Fnatic time and time again here.
Half comeback mechanic. Got to get Lazy dismounted early here. Master Riding too. If he's allowed to sneak through even a little bit, he's going to cover so much ground so quickly.
He is!
He's off to the races. Oh, no, he got dismounted. Did he?
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
he did.
He did.
I was about to switch into horse commentator mode.
He's off to the races now!
Escort the payload.
What's the...
I don't know where I was going to go with it.
There's a horse that's winning everything. If you would have pulled that horse's name in, who has a chance
something
to...
Pharaoh, American Pharaoh?
Was it American Justice? I feel like it was something... It might be American
This is a
Pharaoh.
Blake question.
It
sure.
is.
Don't you just feel like he would know that?
There's a horse in the Kentucky Derby who has won not only the Kentucky Derby, but the something else.
the Triple Crown thing, right? When you win all like the majors.
When you win all 3, and he's won 2 out of 3, so he wins the next one. He gets it. I don't know what that name is, though. Someone's got to know.
I want to say it's American Pharaoh.
Yeah?
It's a very Googleable question.
That might be. It is American Pharaoh.
Double kill.
All right. There it is. And American Pharaoh's off to the races. He's going to find it. The Kentucky Derby Hills.
Now we can proceed with our horse commentary.
Horse commentary and auctioneers go to the same school.
Hand in hand.
And I want to go to that school. It's a nice little, aside to be able to say, I could do this.
Oh, man.
Add this to my repertoire.
Busta Rhymes dropped out.
For the master riding moments. Yeah. I get it. 124 left. Fnatic and Fnatic now have a chance. Tied up. They can win this game. They haven't pushed. It hasn't even really come close for them pushing, which is why they're going to have something crazy happen here. Creative's Lazy Mutu have been so good on the defense. And I think the biggest key for me, Nick, that's changed, nice shot by Fnatic, is that they have not had to deal with a con-less ultimate point fight, except for the beginning one, which they dominated. But everything since then, Khan is at his ultimate. Bugsy's changed the tide of the fight as a result of the way Navi have been playing around that.
Yeah. Fnatic only 60% on their reanimate. That's literally priority number 1 is like get that charged back up before this round is over. Theo, I don't care how many times you just have to suicide into Lazy.
Yeah.
But you got to get this one charged up. You only have 40 seconds to do it, so 1 or 2 more lives. And he's making good use of it right now.
Yeah, he's getting some time. A couple more swings. 3% of swing. Boy, is that not charged very fast.
30 seconds
Not
remaining.
easy. That's why you'll see those Terminuses sometimes. They have a bad round. If they get rolled, and they don't get it at all.
Oh, yeah.
In the first round.
I believe that, man. It'll be like 60% round 2 after a 2-0.
Enemy double
Theo
kill.
actually still alive here.
15
Some
remaining.
big kills from his Bittner. And Theo.
10,
And oh no.
9,
This is 10 seconds. This is a little bit of a problem. Fnatic went from, they haven't pushed this before, to they are very close to winning this set. Coming back again. Creatives goes down, and now the Battle Shop, they've got the damage for another 4 seconds. Can they do it here?
My goodness,
They're
they
gonna go
have
for it, I
ultimates. Fnatic, they have a big decision to make. They're about to lose Terminus here. If they're not careful, they do. Creative finds the killing blow. Mutu weasels his way to the back line, making this decision all the more difficult for Fnatic to make, but it looks like...
I think they're going to go. Oh, no, they lost Bugsy. That was the one. If they could keep one front line, I was thinking they might go for it because, I mean, you've got his Bittner. You throw Theo out of there. You've got Fasheko as well. And Bugsy standing, I mean, that's something you could do. They played a little
What the
safer,
hell?
but they've gotten the Inara. I mean, this is still possible, Nick.
enemy killing.
Is
Theo's back.
Is it?
Reanimate. I think they're going to do it. I don't know anyone who could stop this. Who's going to
Oh.
stop a 4,000 health reanimate?
Oh
It's Fnatic. They get the
my.
victory. This happens out of nowhere.
Tenor, you dog. He just chronics them.
I can't believe it. What a play, and just deleting
Oh
the
my
Inara. And
goodness.
there was nothing Lazy could do about it.
I mean, it's one of the most interesting payload environments to be in because there's so many like broken line of sights that you can still contest from that no one can see you. It's a very awkward. So that's why Bittner's able to stay alive for so long because he has a lot of cover around him, and at the same time Navi can contest, but then they can't have line of sight on Tenor. And he just holds it down for his boys.
And it's so interesting how this continues. Where Fnatic, they win these hard games on land. They win these hard sets.
Did anyone
Excuse me,
ult in
not
that
on land.
fight?
I don't think
I don't
they
think
did.
anyone ulted in that
ulted.
fight.
Yeah, all your ults. No one ults and you lose the game. I don't understand how that all went down. But Fnatic, they win these clutch games online. They lose these clutch games to Navi on land. They continue the story.
Which would you rather have?
I don't know. I mean, at this point,
I'd rather have
obviously,
LAN games.
They'd rather have the LAN games, but it feels good for their morale to get that win against Navi again heading into this one. That's going to be it for this set. It's been a great one. Let's send it back to the desk to wrap it up.
What a way to end it all. Fnatic get the victory. They keep with their stride of being known as one of the best to perform within the regular split.
And it was just a complete reverse of the beginning of that game. Like the first round, that was like Navi. It looked like it was just going to be a 4-0, and it was like, man, this has been a incredible pickup, I want to say, for their team. Not only grabbing Lazy, but with the way they were playing.
And then after that, it was a 2-0 to start it off for
Every other
Navi.
round.
Yeah. The next couple captures, immediately after you saw the team wipe that came from Fnatic onto Navi, and then they did the same thing during the next capture. So when you have comeback mechanic available to you, then that's really all you need. It's just a single team wipe.
And it was really weird because watching the defenses from Navi, it's like, okay, you guys are looking great. And then that initial point fight, every single round, it's like, what is going on? Like, it just does not look like the same team. And especially, like, I mean, when you look at the end there, it's just like Bittner's just sitting down at the bottom and he's just firing for free.
Good old Bittner, baby, doing Bittner things and just landing all the shots. And it was just kind of this weird thing where, okay, you lose a couple of members of Navi, but then they respawn. And then you think, okay, wait, a few of them are down. Can Fnatic go through? Are they going to use any ultimates? Are they going to try and put all the eggs in this basket? And they end up saving onto a lot of them, but then still pushing it through.
I could watch the end of that game probably like 6 times in a row and still be perplexed by how he stayed not only alive, but was getting so much done. And it felt different, I guess, what I want to say. Like, it just didn't feel like Navi again. It was very bipolar with the way they were playing. They were either fully on or they just did not look like the same team.
Well, and then he burned through Lazy, and once Inara wasn't there that made it super difficult for Navi to try and hold that within the end. But it contributes to the story. We've been talking about Fnatic versus Navi and the way they've been going back and forth, and especially when you're in this portion of the season, you're playing online. Fnatic, we made our predictions during Esports Weekly that they would win because of that fact that they are so consistent. And Navi made that questionable within this set. That, you know what, they're looking good with Lazy.
And I'm actually impressed to see how this matchup goes the next time now, because where they are compared to where they were is, I think, the bigger difference maker. There was a point where online, Navi was very obviously better than everyone else in Europe, except for Fnatic, who had really cemented themselves. Keeping this one as close as it was, and really, I want to say as iffy as it was, even to the tail end, it's kind of like, is Fnatic actually going to get this? Like, are they actually going to push this in? Knowing that that's the way this went, I'm excited to see how they're going to react the next time they go up against each other.
Yeah, but it was at that point where we really couldn't make a prediction, especially going into Game 5 of who's going to take it home. But congrats to Fnatic. This was their hardest matchup of the week. They did so well against Mouse Sports in the first with their 3-0. And then this really sets the tone for trying to continue with another split potentially as first seed.
And definitely, I want to say the best way to start out your first week is, hey, how'd it go? Well, I got 2 wins and no losses, so I can go into this, especially for the next few weeks, pretty happy.
And this was Thursday, so we have one more day of the week for you. Friday, it's G2 Esports with their doubleheader versus Renegades and Team Envy. And then, wow, we're going to be done with week 1 of the PPL split.
And it feels like just 2 weeks ago we were doing the Masters LAN.
Right? It all just comes through so
I wonder
quickly.
why it feels that way.
Yeah, I wonder.
It's been a nice action-packed month.
But everyone's working towards the goal of HRX at DreamHack. November 16th through 18th is when that's taking place. Make sure you buy your tickets as they are available now on highresexpo.com, the PWC, our console worlds, and our Smite content.
Talking about a LAN that Fnatic would not want to lose to Navi once again. Considering the way things have gone for them, that's definitely the one I think they have their eyes set on.
Well, that does it for today, everybody. Make sure you're tuning in tomorrow for all of our Paladins content, which is always enforced on our Paladins Pro Twitter as well. So take it easy. See you then.